All right. We're ready to go. Yay. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Claims of Truth Healing Circle. I am so excited to be here, and I'm so happy that you all have joined me. It is a holiday weekend, and so there's always that time when it's like, oh, people might be at the beach, they might be at the pool or doing something really fun. I remember when we lived up north and Labor Day was the sign that everything was starting to close down. And so when I checked in and got the information that we were going to be doing a healing circle on Labor Day, I was kind of like, okay. And then it was even more entertaining when the claim of truth came across as this long sentence, and then it got summarized to the word trust. It's like, okay, I'm happy to just keep trusting however it shows up. And we do not have Ashley here with us as a moderator because Ashley is, I'm so jealous. Ashley is in Orlando. So I told her to say hi to Mickey and that we were going to be perfect. We will miss her, but we will be perfect without her. So how is everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm really happy to have you all here. Before we get started, I do want to make a reminder that this is recorded and this is put on YouTube. If you have a particular question that you want to ask and you don't want me to talk about it out loud, please feel free to put that in the chat, to private message me. Everybody should have access to the chat, but the chat does not show up on YouTube. So just a little reminder there. So how is everybody doing? Last week, huge power week, lots going on. And so you may have a few moments where you're like, oh dear Lord, thank God last week is over. Maybe that's just me saying that. Thank God last week is over. For sure. So casting a circle of light, specifying that only Source Creator God, my healing team, and the Privy Council be present for tonight's Claims of Truth Healing Circle, where we are going to look at the claim, as I learn, I manifest lessons that are required for me to grow through. And as I trust this, I allow my life to be my teacher. And that is a claim of truth that is taken from the Book of Mastery. This is actually the fourth book that I just stopped for a moment, like it is the fourth book, right? The fourth book that Paul Selig channeled. I think it's one of my absolute favorites. I've been in this book before, and I'm back to it again now. So I absolutely love it. I just think it's such a fabulous book. But that's where the claim of truth came from. It is page 51, the very first page of day 2 or chapter 2. I don't remember how. Chapter 2. He actually uses chapters in this book. Day 4, chapter 2, the very beginning. So I'm really excited about this. And I think I say that at every circle, and it always makes me laugh just a little bit because I've always been that person who was, yeah, Paul Selig, yeah, I read it. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, Joan, I don't get it all. And here I am doing a healing circle based around the entire the entire series. So if you're somebody who has read Paul's stuff, has not read Paul's stuff, it's all perfect. One of the things I love the most about all of the books that Paul Selig has channeled is that it's common sense. It's stuff that when you hear it, you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know, that we're all one. That really does make sense. You know, casting somebody out of the light, when we cast somebody out of the light, that we are right there with them. I mean, as I do more of this work, I'm like, God, that just makes so much sense. Because the minute I, you know, say, oh, God, they're such a jerk, whoever is listening to me has a moment of, wow, listen to her talk about, you know, that person. That's not very nice. So it's kind of like I'm right there sitting next to the person who I just called a jerk. So it's one of the things I love about all of this stuff. And if we take a look at the claim that we're talking about tonight, as I learn, I manifest lessons that are required for me to grow through. So as I learn, as I go through my life, I am constantly creating things for me to learn from. And those things that I learn from help me to grow, help me to be a more mature person, help me to have more experiences, so to speak, in my belt, helps me to grow. And as I trust that that is exactly what is happening, I remember that my life is my teacher. And to me, that just is like, okay, that just totally makes sense. I go through my life and I have lots of experiences, and I just keep adding to my experiences, and they teach me different things. You know, I've learned how to raise kids. I have learned how to talk to an almost 5-year-old and, you know, get them to help me do things. I have had lots of experiences in this lifetime, and I understand how to move through those processes. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Everybody ready? Here's the first point, the first lesson from the claim. All of us are already really powerful manifestors. All of us are already really powerful manifestors. We were born that way. Anybody need a healing on that? We were born powerful manifestors. The moment we came out of the womb, we started creating our life, creating our experiences. We are already really powerful. We've forgotten, right? So our first healing is on the place where we have forgotten just how powerful we are. Now, the way we do this in the healing circle is, if you'd like to participate, you certainly can. You can put it in the chat where you notice that you need a healing on the place where you've forgotten that you are a powerful manifester. And you can move your hands and let your hands point to the place. You might be somebody who just wants to sit and just say, where have I forgotten that I'm a powerful manifester? And let your hand guide you. You might just be listening to me, which is a healing in and of itself, and just trust that you are busy gathering the gifts, you are busy getting the healings, whether you participate or not. Totally fine. So, for me, Where have I forgotten? Where have I forgotten that I am a powerful manifester? Well, certainly there is a lot in my sternum. There is a lot right here in my throat. And so we're going to give that place a healing. Now, the we, when I talk about we, is my higher self and my healing team. The Privy Council is also present to give healings. Plus, each and every one of you are powerful creators and manifestors, and your higher self would be like, yeah, I know how to give the healing, or I know where to go to get the healing. Isn't that really cool? And if you need help with that place where you do not trust that that is the case, I'm happy to help you with that too. Because we are always working on trusting how everything unfolds. Anybody have any opportunities to trust just a little bit more that happened this week? I always think it's very fun how I get the claim of truth and then things start showing up for me. This last week, I had a course show up for me, and I got the information probably 4 months ago. Oh my God, I'm going to be doing a course. And I also got the warning, be careful talking about this because this might not be exactly how you think it's going to be. And I was like, why would you give me information and tell me not to talk about it? Why would you do that? I don't know that I still have a great answer for why I would get information about something and not be able to talk about it. But this last week, it dropped in all of a sudden. Oh, now I know what I'm doing. Now I know how it's going to unfold. Now I know the details of it. And I can't say I still have any idea why I was told not to talk about it, but I have the information now. And so you may have seen that on Facebook and on Instagram that I'm going to be doing a class. And this class is actually really designed for people who are just spiritually curious. All of you are certainly very spiritually curious, and you have taken that forward to be involved in classes with care and participate in gratitude and Noah and things like that. And you are certainly welcome to join. But this course is really for all of our friends and family who are kind of like, what are you up to? What are you doing? What is that whole alchemy thing? What is, the meaning of this? And why do you do that? This course that I'm going to be teaching is really for those people. But I had to trust for 4 months how it was going to unfold and not really talk about it, just kind of wait for the next piece of information to drop in. So if you have had that experience where you're like, God, I feel like I have a piece of the information, but I don't have all of the information, this healing is for you. Eventually, our higher selves get around to giving us the information that we need, but it isn't always in our personality's time frame. I find that it's usually not anywhere close to my time frame. So I just keep trusting how that shows up. Okay. Clear those blocks to remembering your truth. Lots of throats. Lots of sternums. So that's a really cool thing. Who doesn't want to get a healing on your throat or your sternum? Cool. Perfect. Okay, here's another lesson from this claim of truth. For me, my lesson is I'm not a victim of anything, and no one else has my information. Only I have my information. So other people, I have spent some time over the last 2 weeks running around looking to see who has my information. Who is the person who knows when my class is going to start? Who is the person who knows how I'm going to facilitate it? And I was running around and running around and running around. Like, who is that? It's a children's book. Are You My Mother? Dr. Seuss, Are You My Mother? And I don't remember what it is. If anybody remembers who the character is, maybe a bird, maybe a dog, it's running around going, Are you my mother? Are you my mother? And that was me running around going, do you have my information? Do you know what I'm doing? Do you know what's going on with me? I was running around like crazy until I had a very wise person say to me, why would your higher self give anybody else the information to your class? Okay, hold on a second. Let me think about that for a moment. Why would my higher self give anyone else the information? That's a great question. And I ask the same question to you. Why would your higher self give anyone else the information that was designed for you? They wouldn't. There would be lots of times when we think that somebody else has our information, but our higher self is always trying to clear the channels, clear the path for us to have very clear direction from our higher selves. Always. That's what our higher self wants. Doesn't that make sense? So I go, oh, wow, that's a great lesson. So here I am manifesting lessons for me to learn through, for me to grow through. Exactly like the claim of truth that we're talking about. As I learn, I manifest lessons that are required for me to grow through. And as I trust this, I allow my life to be my teacher. I just start saying, okay, I'm just going to trust. I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust that it's going to show up. Okay, watch me trust. Here I am. Just a little more trust. Downloads coming in for all of us. More trust. More rapture. More gratitude. That indigo blue. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I was writing some stuff down today and gratitude showed up as a reminder that gratitude is the secret sauce. I kept seeing a Big Mac. Is it Big Mac? I think it's a Big Mac with the secret sauce. And I was like, all right, what's up with the Big Mac? Oh, it's a secret sauce. Okay, got it. Secret sauce, Big Mac. Okay. Gratitude, it's a secret sauce. Use it liberally in everything that happens to you. Whether it's something that happens to you that you're happy about, or whether it's something that you're like really ticked off about. I am grateful for that teaching. I am grateful for that experience. Dear Lord, I'm really grateful that my car broke down on the side of the road. Yep. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Isn't that an awesome thing? Yes. Just be more grateful, more grateful. Perfect. Oh, there's a bunch of you that are like, yes, more gratitude. Yes, give me more gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Just here's how I saw it. A bunch of you look like you have like these big baskets that you're like running around. Yes, here's more gratitude. Here's more gratitude. Yes, yes, yes. Dump it on your head. It's an awesome thing. More gratitude is a perfect thing. So a reminder that we're not a victim. That's the whole idea. You're not a victim. Everything happens to you exactly for the lessons that are required for your growth, even those really awful ones. And the faster that we can get that idea, that's like, oh, okay, there's a lesson in this, there's a teaching in this. Okay, what is it? Oh, let me be grateful. Okay, let me start with just being grateful. Okay, I'm in gratitude for this experience. Sometimes you might be saying it like, I am in freaking gratitude for this experience. Sometimes it shows up like that. That's okay. Okay. Because we are talking about the fact that you are not a victim, that everything is a teaching, that everything is an experience. We get a healing on the places where we have a story about us being victimized. Anybody have that friend who is constantly telling the story of how they were victimized? Over and over again, you've heard that same story. If you know that person, if you have that awareness of that person, we are going to give them a healing on the place where they just keep running that same conversation over and over again. And if we can move enough of that victim energy for them, that conversation starts to ease. It slows down just a little bit. It becomes a little softer. It becomes filled with a little bit more love, with a little bit more gratitude. And we go, oh, okay. And that's how we heal things. So, whether you have a picture or a program, whether you have a movie, some of you have some dark creations, we are going to help you move more of those. Being a victim never serves us. Feels like it might, but it doesn't. It never serves us. So, if you'd like, you can point to the place where you are holding that victim story, whether it is a picture or a program or a movie. You can point to that place. We're going to give it a healing, and then we're going to give it some gifts. Mine is right up here in my frontal lobe. I look like I have a movie screen there that is busy playing the movie. All these different times that I was victimized. All these different times that I was like, yep. And then that happened to me. Yep. And then that happened to me too. And the reason why I am so miserable is because of that situation. If that hadn't happened to me, I'd be a much happier person. Absolutely true. When we move more of that out for everybody, you start going, oh, wow, that was kind of cool. When that thing happened to me, when I failed that class, when I missed that train, when that person left me, divorced me, stomped on my heart, that actually was a great teaching. Yeah, I've been carrying around a lot of pain about that, but I get to heal that now. And I now know that it happened exactly as my higher self designed it, so that I could grow from that. So I could turn around to somebody else and say, yeah, that happened to me too. And what I discovered was that it actually helps me to grow. It actually helped me to be more compassionate. It helped me to be more thoughtful. I actually learned to pay more attention to the details. I'm sure if I asked each and every one of you to tell me one of the most important things that has happened to you in your life, you would have a reason behind why it was so significant, what you learned from it, what helped you grow. So we have a gift. I love gifts. Gift, 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 gift. We have a gift of a crystalline orb. It's a crystalline orb of power, and it is going in everybody's third eye, right here. There was a time when I didn't think third eyes were a real thing. I thought they were something that they made up in yoga to teach us to focus. They used to say, focus on your third eye. Focus on your third eye. And I was like, I'm focusing on where the heck is my third eye and what the heck is a third eye. So now I know what my third eye is. And I often have a lot of third eye headaches lately, right there. It just like pulses. I'm like, yeah, let's move more of that. So now everybody is getting a gift of a crystalline orb of power right there in your third eye. Take that third eye up, up, up in frequency. That's part of how we see ourselves. And the more we can heal that, the more we can see ourselves with clarity. So you're welcome to look and see what color your orb of power is. So mine's got a lot of different purples in it. Got a lot of transformation. It has a lot of sparkles and things like that, and it's very cool. I'm very excited about. So let's see, we got our victim piece handled. I love that. I have a nice organized list tonight. And we got the block to remembering our truth, knowing that we're powerful manifestors. Okay, here's something really cool. We're actually going to go on a field trip. So here's another lesson from this claim of truth. How you view what happens to you determines whether you get more of that or whether you have checked off the box for learning the lesson and you can move on to a higher frequency. Wow, isn't that cool? How you view what happens to you determines what happens next. So let's say that you spend a lot of money to take a course and you fail the course, whatever it is. You bomb the course. You're just like, wow, I didn't know it was possible to get that low of a score. How you interact with that information determines what happens to you next. That really makes sense, doesn't it? It really makes sense. So if you bomb an exam, bomb a course, you can get really pissed off about how much money you spent. You can start looking at all the ways that the teacher screwed up, that perhaps people in the class didn't help you. I mean, you can go on and on and on, coming up with why you're a victim. You can come up with lots of reasons about why it was such a sucky thing that happened to you. And what's going to happen is you are going to experience that over and over and over again. Now, you might not bomb the course again the next time. So I really like the example of when you took your driver's test to get your driver's license. You know, if you bomb that test, you don't get your driver's license. And that really sucks when you're a teenager, right? And you might be like, this is awful and I can't believe this happened. And the guy told me to turn right and I turned right and blah, 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 right? You can have a whole piece going around it. You're going to encounter that over and over and over again. One, you're going to have to take the test again, at least if you want to drive. But two, you're also replaying it over and over and over in your mind. And the more you replay it in your mind, the more you are creating the problem, recreating that problem, keeping in mind that you are a really powerful manifestor. You were born that way. So if you just keep replaying that over and over again and telling that same story, you just keep recreating it. You can see how that could lead to some really unhappy situations. But if you view that encounter as like, wow, I can't believe I failed that. Wow. Okay. So now that I've gotten the nervousness out, I'm going to go home and I'm going to study more. And I'm going to get because we're still talking about our driver's test, I'm going to ask my parent or I'm going to ask my friend to take me out more so I can get more driving experience. And what we're doing is we're creating it into a positive experience. Okay, yeah, that happened. It sucks. It's miserable, but I'm going to move forward from here because here is where I stand, but there is where I want to get. It's not going to help me to keep replaying it over and over and over again over here. Instead, I'm going to keep moving forward and I'm going to, appreciate that it happened, find support, find some more love, find some more ways to do it differently, and keep moving forward. That means you're moving into a higher frequency. See how cool that is? Okay. Of course, we got to trust how it shows up, right? We've got to trust that there was a reason why it happened. And that's where the trust comes in. If you happen to see my post, I did the claim of truth in the background, that big long sentence. And then I just wrote the word trust over top of it. Because that's what we really want to do. We want to trust, trust, trust. Trust how everything unfolds. Trust how our life is happening for us, not to us. Everybody's got a wand. And you can take a look at what your wand looks like. You can ask about the color. You can ask about the size. Perhaps you might have a star or an orb or something on the end of it. You can always ask those questions. It's just a matter of just saying, okay, so what does it look like? And then ask a question. Is it blue? Is it orange? Is it pink? Is it gold? And you just keep asking questions, asking questions, asking questions, trusting however it shows up. So mine is splendor. That's pretty cool. It's very funny how that showed up. My wand is splendor. That's a really awesome frequency. And it has a gold ball on top. It's a gold ball of remembrance. And it is going in here and going right down the middle of my head. Cool. Everybody's got their wands installed. Whether you have an awareness of what color it is or what it actually looks like, it matters not. It really doesn't. Not important. You just want the gifts. So here's what we're going to do. For the remaining time we have, we're going to go on a field trip. And we are going to the Crystal Caves on Avalon. Now, for some of you, this might be like, all right, what are we doing? I don't know what this is. It is a field trip and a practice in imagining for yourself. So you can just go, all right, I'm just going to suspend all my thinking and I'm going to pretend like I'm 5 years old again. Now I have a very dear friend that has an almost 5-year-old. She turns 5 on Saturday. And she is the best at playing imagination games. And I love playing imagination games with her because it constantly helps me. I've gotten out of the habit of playing imagination games. And so I encourage you to just sort of be willing to play. Just go, okay, here we go. So We are going up 3 stairs. 1, 2, 3. And you have a door in front of you. And if you'd like, you can take a look at what color the door is. You can take a look at what shape it is. My door just looks like a regular door that you would find in your house. It is red and it has a big purple circle in the middle. Now, does it matter if I know what color it is? Absolutely not. Doesn't matter at all. It's just really fun to go, oh, it's red and it has a big purple dot on it. Circle. Okay, it's a circle. You are going to click 3 times, open the door, and walk through the door. And it is immediately going to put you into a crystalline cave. What does a crystalline cave look like? You tell me. You get to choose what your crystalline cave looks like. Now, when I walked into my crystalline cave, I'm actually standing on a platform because somewhere in my mind I took 3 steps up, and so I need to take 3 steps down to be level with the cave. You might not have to do that. You might just poof, you are automatically in the cave. You get to look around. The first thing that you are going to see is you're going to see a magic box. Why is it a magic box? Because I said it was a magic box. And you get to pick that magic box up and you are going to take it with you and fill it with lots of crystalline gifts. You get to decide what you see. It is 100% your trip. You get to decide what you are going to experience. So you may have an awareness of what your box looks like. My box is actually gold and silver. And it has a lid on it. It sort of looks like a jewelry box. Why not? It's very cool. And so I'm taking my box with me and I'm going in search of some gifts because that's what we're here for. Off I go looking for some gifts. You can look in your cave. Maybe you want to look up in the ceiling. What does the ceiling look like? Do you have crystalline chandeliers? Are there stalactites? I'm pretty sure it's tights because T is top. Stalactites coming down that are crystalline. Do you have an awareness of what color they are? When you reach up and touch them, can you take some of that and put it in your magic box? Perhaps what you're seeing are just little crystalline shapes. You may have different geometrics. You may see crystalline numbers or crystalline letters. You might see some algorithms, what are those? Like some mathematical symbols. You might see some music symbols. You might have an awareness of them being crystalline, and perhaps they have a little bit of that sparkle. You can ask what color they are, what size they are. And if you are somebody who wants a big crystalline piece of the stalactite, know that you can always ask for that to be shrunken down, compressed, condensed, so that it fits in your box. Did you know that you could do that? Absolutely. You can condense it all day long. So feel free to walk around and gather gifts. There are some crystalline books. Really? Crystalline books in a cave? It is my cave. So there are definitely books. And oddly enough, this one's a really odd one. I just noticed that there's a pair of tap shoes sitting over in the corner. Not really a corner, but we're going to call it a corner. Crystalline tap shoes. I have to tell you, it's the very first time I've ever had tap shoes show up. But they are most definitely tap shoes. And you know what? I'm going to actually put them right on my feet because I love when I get gifts for my feet. I really do. Now, I could just tap my way around. As I was tapping around, I suddenly had this awareness of a top hat. Okay, I'm going to go with it. I'm definitely going to take that top hat and I'm going to put it on my head because that gift is going to actually be something that I have forever and ever and ever. These gifts are forever. It's not like you are just gathering these things and kind of making it up. Okay, I played along with Bonnie. These are gifts that you have forever and ever. So I've got a magic top hat. I've already got a wand, but I see a cane, like the long black cane, almost like I'm going out on the town. And I actually hear the song Putting on the Ritz. Putting on the Ritz. So I'm going to take that cane. I'm going to run it right down my spine. That'll be really nice. Those power days, sometimes our nervous system is just like, ah, ah. Are you gathering gifts? Are you busy collecting some things? You might see very reasonable things in your cave. You could see a knife, a fork, and a spoon. I see plates. I see cups. There are some scarves. They kind of, at first they kind of look like napkins, but when I pick them up, I have an awareness that they're crystalline in nature, but they're more like silk, like the way they flow and float and move. Yeah, that'd be really good. Right back here for my brainstem. Are y'all gathering some gifts? You know what else you can do? Of course, because this is the healing circle. And this is about us healing ourselves and healing others and healing the field. You can gather up some crystalline gifts and gift it to others. Just an intention, that's all it is. That's exactly how that truly works. Just gathered up a whole handful of crystals and I'm gifting them to my sister-in-law and to my other sister-in-law and to my third sister-in-law. They'll all make good use of those gifts. You can do the exact same thing. You can also trust that your higher self is on that. That's so cool. I'm going to take those scarves and gift them out into the field. If you guys just keep distributing those scarves around, that'd be awesome. Did you know that you're allowed to do that? Oh my God, is there a rule that says we can't? Uh-oh. And then Bonnie had an experience where the energy police came and cuffed her and took her away. I have an awareness that if there were energy police and they cuffed me, that those handcuffs would be a gift as well. How about that? It is another opportunity. This being on a field trip is another opportunity to see just how powerful of a manifester you are. What do you do with the whole conversation about we're on a field trip and we're gathering gifts? I can tell you where I was a couple years ago. I was like, okay, we're gathering gifts. And now I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is so fun. I want to go and do more. You'll get there. Hang out with us enough and you'll start to be like, oh yeah, man, this is the most fun. I'm telling you, all of you who know people who are TAs and who are mentors in the classes, ask them sometime, what was Bonnie like? I hated playing energy games. I hated going on field trips. I really disliked it because I had no awareness of it. I didn't trust my information. And then one day I realized it's my information. Who are you to tell me what I can see and what I can't? Have you gathered all your gifts? There is a big table that is filled with all different kinds of fruits. If you like oranges and bananas and limes and grapes and things like that, they're all crystalline. You're welcome to gather those things up and put those in your body as well. It's your opportunity to gather. Just keep gathering more gifts and trusting that you're actually receiving them. We're also continuing to heal those blocks to where you don't trust your higher self. It makes perfect sense for you not to trust your higher self. You've spent years and years and years not knowing you had a higher self. Why wouldn't it be just a little weird when somebody tells you, oh, you have a higher self, that you're like, okay, I trust that. Okay. Gifts. Gathering. I see a couple of you that are like stuff in your pockets. It's like putting them down your shirt and doing all sorts of things. That's perfect too. You can do that. It's not like anybody is going to say to you, you have way too many. Put some of those back. As in everything, there is an unlimited supply of gifts. That whole, there's not enough, there's a shortage thing is not really a thing. Gathering. Okay. I'll give you another minute here. Gathering up. Getting lots of healings on the places where you go unconscious. The places where you're like, what? Somebody talking to me? What are we doing? What are we up to? Healings on that. That's an awesome thing to heal. More of that. Stress. Mhm. Mhm. See a paint set. It's a whole bunch of paints and brushes. What are those things called? The paint palette. I think that's what it's called. You know, a thing that kind of looks like this. You put all the paints on it. Paint, a paint palette. Yeah, those things. Yep. Lots and lots of gifts there. And just watching you guys take a couple more gifts. It was sort of making me laugh because I was seeing things that look like basketballs and footballs. I'm like, I'm not sure. Those are basketballs and footballs. I think they're orbs and ovals and things like that. Okay. Gather up your last gifts. We're going to go back through the door that you came through. And it might look the same. It might look very different. See, my door was red with a big purple circle on it. But on this side, my door is green. It is the green of abundance. And I'm just gonna snap once and walk through the door. And I am back in the same place I was before I went. And you know, you can do things like that anytime you want. You can do them as a meditation. You can do them as I'm just going to sit here and go on my own little field trip. It's a great practice for all of us. Cool. The claim of truth again. As I learn, I manifest lessons that are required for me to grow through. And as I trust this, I allow my life to be my teacher. It's really very simple. We want to remember that we're really powerful manifestors. Each and everything in our life has been created for us to grow, to become more wise, perhaps we want to say, to have more experiences and become more relatable, to be able to trust our higher selves, to be able to trust that love is the only truth, to help us remember that we're not a victim to anything, and a reminder that other people don't have your answers. You do. You have your answers. It's your information, and your higher self is never going to give it to somebody else instead of giving it to you. You may not be able to hear it. You might not have a clear sense of the information right away, but it is your information. You're not a victim to anybody. It's just another experience. And of course, I love that reminder that every encounter determines what happens next. How I view every encounter determines what happens next. Am I going to get another experience just like that so I can get the teaching in solid? Or am I going to go up in frequency and move on to some new experiences, some new challenges, some new opportunities to remember who I am. Holy cow. I just think that's so cool. I'm doing a whole little skippy dance over here. That's so cool to have that. And we're going to forget. Great reminder. There will be lots of times that we forget. There will be lots of times when we're just like, what was that? What was the whole point of that? Feel free to text me. Feel free to text me, to message me on Messenger, to find me somewhere on social and say, yo, I had one of those experiences. Can you help me? I'm always happy to help. Our next Claims of Truth Healing Circle is going to be on the 18th. I'm really excited about that one. I'm really excited about them all. Yay. I don't have the Claim of Truth yet. I don't even know what book it's going to come out from. But the Book of Innocence is going to be coming out in the next couple weeks. Claim of Truth probably won't be from there, but oh my gosh, I'm very excited about the book coming out. I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up tonight for the Healing Circle. So awesome to have an opportunity to share an hour of healing and conversation. And tonight to be able to go on a really cool field trip. So excited about that. Go on a field trip and gather gifts and have that experience. I do want to remind you all that next Monday, I have an introduction to the Universal Laws update. It's going to be on Zoom, and there is a link. That's an introduction. We're just going to talk about like what the universal laws are and kind of give people an overview of what the class is going to be like. And then the class is going to start on September 18th, which is the same day as the next Healing Circle. The class is designed, like I said, for people who are spiritually curious. It's designed to grab your coffee, sit down. We'll have a 45-minute discussion about one of the universal laws, like manifestation or abundance or attraction or karma. And we'll talk about that. And then I'll talk to them about the opportunity to put those laws into practice, practical things they can do in their lives to put these things into practice. The universal law of one, we're all connected. There's an opportunity to practice putting that into your life. And in the next class, we'll talk about their experiences. They will get healings, whether it'll be really obvious or not, is yet to be seen. But if you know some people who are spiritually curious, please pass on my information to them. I appreciate your help in everything you do. I love and appreciate that you show up on Labor Day to play in the energy, to help me, help you, help others, and also gift the field. Thank you so much for all you do, for how you show up, for how totally amazing each and every one of you are. And I look forward to seeing you on the 18th for another fun Claims of Truth Healing Circle. Have a great night.